What's going on, everybody? It's me, Joe here.
Mateo. Or Matt is me.
And this is an EP review.
Matt is me 2016.
And this is an EP review of The Strokes, Future, Present, Past. The Strokes have been inactive for about 3 years, with Come Down Machine in 2013. The album was fairly good. Not the best they've put out, not even close, but...
Like second worst.
But in the meantime, Julian's been working on his project, The Voids, which that album was wonderful.
Yeah, it was wonderfully weird, wonderfully awesome, wonderfully beautiful, wonderfully everything.
It was all that good, heartwarming synth punk one could want. And then Albert's been busy with his solo work with Momentary Masters. A great album in its own respect. It wasn't weird, it was just good.
Yeah, like very not weird. Except it had a song called Side Boob, but that's about it. It wasn't even about Side Boob, so that's not weird. I don't count that as weird. You think that fly's gone?
Steve the Fly is gone, and if he comes back, I'm going to smack a bitch. So, 3 years later, from the last Strokes album, we are blessed with this new EP coming out of nowhere.
Do you have anything to say about the song, or are you just
So, this EP first starts off with Drag Queen, which is not my favorite song. In fact, it's probably the worst song.
Definitely worst song.
The production on it isn't that great. Julian's vocals are not him.
Good. Yeah, but not him.
They're not him. I don't think they're good.
I like the weirdness of like the verses, but the ending is horrible.
Is horrible the right word?
Yes. There's just like a wall of sound like coming at you like with like, you know, some sort of pitch shifted shit vocals happening on there.
It seems like it was just like a B-side of Come Down Machine. It shouldn't have been put on the EP.
I wouldn't go that far.
Really?
I think it was still a pretty good song, as much as we just bashed it. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely the worst of the three. But I mean, it's not... It's still better than I was expecting.
Follows.
Let's just move on.
That's what I was doing.
Just move on. Quicker.
So the song that comes up next is Oblivious. All caps, spelled wrong, super weird.
It's not super weird. It's just weird for the Strokes, kind of. I like that weirdness.
Yeah, the Void's influence is definitely taking effect in this EP.
You can also still tell, though, that the other members are writing as well. You know, it's not just Julian.
Yeah, Valenci is definitely writing some killer guitar parts.
I think Albert had a lot to do with Oblivious, though. I mean, it sounds
I wouldn't doubt it.
It sounds like a riff that he would write.
And Julian's vocals were amazing. Again, he brings back that falsetto that he had in Come Down Machine, and he uses it to great effect.
And the distortion on the vocals, well liked by moi. Room on Fire, I think, is the last album that had like distortion throughout.
That's fair. That's fair. But with The Voids, I think Julian's finally getting back into the distortion, and he's not going for that clean cut look. Moving past Oblivious, we come to Thread of Joy, which I never thought we were going to hear the Strokes like this again, and I'm so glad we got to hear them like this because it's not better than Oblivious, but I love this track.
Yeah, I like the talk singing that it does, and I like the sort of like, the whole vibe is cool. It's kind of reminds me of like a lounge song, honestly, done by like a rock band, you know?
That's fair.
Kind of sounds like somewhere in between Room on Fire and First Impressions of Earth is what I thought.
But I also like heard the influences of Come Down Machine and Angles.
I mean, it's not like it was made between those two, but that's what it sounds like the most.
Still, long story short, it was a throwback. It was well appreciated, and it's a very well done track.
I don't think it's a throwback necessarily. I hope it's a throw forward, if you know what I'm saying.
EP
It's
though.
turned like a Strokes fanboy sesh.
Which one do you want to fuck, man? I like the long hair one. What's his name?
Fuck, marry, kill. Julian, or Julian. But looking towards the final track, I guess you could say, it's the remix of Oblivious. It's done by Fab, the drummer. Honestly, compared to the original, I don't see this remix as being that great because it took out my favorite part. It took out the guitar melody that I really like the song for, and taking out the best aspect just doesn't make the song nearly as good. So it's okay. The synths that he replaced for the guitars are fine, but it's not the same.
And I didn't listen to it because I don't listen to remixes. overall, I thought the choruses were weak. It was kind of like the verses, in my opinion, were the best part. Like especially the initial verses.
Well,
But the choruses were like, you know, they had those soaring notes, sustained notes by Julian, which is fine. You know, it sounded pretty good. But it's like, I don't know, I was hoping for a little, you know, a little something more interesting. Like fucking, I don't know.
well, comparing anything to Is This It is unfair.
No, I'm not even comparing to that. Even like First Impressions of Earth, like, you know, I feel like, you know, You Only Live Once and Heart in a Cage and Juicebox and Vision of Division and, you know, those songs all had like pretty like awesome choruses, and they weren't just like the same note / syllable for 5 seconds and then.
But I mean, this isn't the Strokes fan page. What am I saying? This is a mic.
Just going for the ride, man.
Yeah, no, I felt the choruses personally were just fine. Could they have been better? Anything can always be better. But I enjoyed them, especially on Oblivious, because at that point, that's when I knew the Strokes were fully back.
Well, they're not back because they haven't released an album and they only play like 2 shows a year. But anyway, what would you give it?
I'd personally give this album an 8 out of 10. I mean, still great. Just a couple points off Drag Queen and some production elements, but nothing too terrible.
Yeah, I give it an 8 too. Great minds think alike, I guess. But it's like half one off for the remix,
The remix, yeah.
half one off for the weak choruses, and just a full point off for being an EP.
Still
and
unfair.
only 3 songs. Like, I mean, they're musicians for a fucking living. Like, they can't make more than 3 songs. Let's not get into that.
You throwing shade?
Is that it?